What's up? Back at it again. So I'm at one of them weird stages where I'm kind of in limbo, not really sure what to do next. So what I've done is I've kind of written a list of some of the jobs. So this is just like a chassis list. I'll talk through that in a minute. But I think what my plan is today is to tidy up my shed so I can get all this stuff back in, but in, you know, tidily, in some sort of order, so that I can actually start, you know, cleaning and prepping it as I go along. So I need to be able to get to it, find it easy. So before I do that, which I'm not going to film because that's going to be boring. Oh, I've done one other thing as well. I measured the wheelbase on both sides and it's exactly 92 inches both sides, which is a good sign. It means that the chassis jig is nice and square. It's definitely worth building that. And it also means that I managed to build it accurately to 92 inches, which was exactly what I was after. And now it means that I can modify the jig and make it 96 inches for the Dolomite and get the Dolomite on it. Because plans have changed on the Dolomite. I don't know if I've mentioned before, but the Skyline is going to go for bodywork before the Dolomite. I'm not going to do any bodywork as of yet. Anyway, so I'm going to fully strip the chassis back down and weld anything that still needs welding. Some of it underneath I couldn't get to because of the subframes being in the way or whatever, or the jig. I need to make some rear inner wings, which you can see there are none, but I have made some panels up that will go in there. Front, so we need front shock mounts and rear shock mounts. That's obviously something that needs to be done, front and rear. The fuel tank box, that's the next job on the list. So I need to tidy that up, and it's going to hurt me, but I really got to cut into this panel and sink that box in, which I'm not looking forward to, but it's got to be done. And I'm sure it'll be fine. I need to cut the rear arches for clearance. Need to fill the sunroof hole up. We need to make a cage and also the cage spreader plates. Need to do all of the fixings for the tunnel because it's got two there and it's got like a couple up there somewhere. So that needs fixing in, which is just a case of drilling some holes and adding fixings. Need to mount the column, mount the throttle pedal, decide how I'm going to do the windscreen wiper and the wiper linkage and mount all of that. Need to make a battery tray or a box of some sort. Figure out where all the earthing points are going to go and weld them in and get that sorted. Route any wiring, brake lines, clutch lines, battery cables, all of that needs routing so I can drill any holes before painting. The clocks need to be mounted, the seat needs to be mounted. I need to cut some weight out of it if I can. So for weight saving, I've realised that once there's a cage in it, panels like this, that one there, that one going back through there, and like this little bit here, and that little bit back there, could probably cut that out because the cage will be replacing all of that structural integrity that will be lost. So it's just a bit of weight saving. Also just cutting these arches off somewhere, that will save some weight. The ride height is 80mm or 85mm from the lowest point of the sill at the back to the floor. It's 85mm. So I think we're going to go 85mm at the rear and 75 at the front. I think that's, unless of course I cut the tubs right out. Because of this shoddy welding, it would be nice to tidy that up somehow. But I think I'm going to leave the tubs in there because they're pretty decent. I think I'm just going to cut them out and like just cut this off the outside and tidy it up somehow. Finally, I'm going to grab a textile underneath, paint it, and then after that it'll be body kit stuff, vinyl wrap, and then any of the bells and whistles that I fancy adding. I've kept the front end set up separate on this list because it doesn't necessarily need to be done you know, at the same time. It would be done separately, but it is something that I want to get on with. It'll be done at the same sort of time as the cage. But yeah, I need to make a front end that's going to go all the way around, mount the headlights and all of that, mount the rad and the intercooler, mount all the wings, the bonnet, all of that good stuff. So yeah, that's the list. So I'm going to tidy this out. I'm going to get it up on axle stands, and I'm going to commence with the strip down. Well, I'm well into the strip down. I've got a lot of stuff back in the shed. I'm trying to consider a few things as I go, like where I might fit, like a monster tacho and a couple of gauges. And to be honest, these 2 points here look like they might be ideal. In fact, there's 4, so it might be ideal to make a mounting plate to mount all the gauges off those 4 screws, and they'll come up here. And I think the middle of the clock binnacle is somewhere around here. So yeah, I think that'd be the best way. And then the clocks can stay behind, and I can take the dashboard out. And I'm thinking that I'll have some sort of quick release fixings here and here, like pit pins or something, so you just pull them out and not worry about the fixings across the top. Just leave them like studs. Eventually I'll make a lightweight dash and it'll be composite. So I've kept a few bits and bobs out of the front anti-roll bar because I actually need to mount this, so that's something that I'll have to put into consideration over the next day or two. I think it's going to be mounted somewhere out here like it would be on an MX-5, so it'll have to come off of the framework that's going to come off here. And then the other thing, I've got my old bottom end. This engine suffered head gasket failure, and as I was using the MX-5 as a daily, I needed to get to work, so I just threw my spare in, and the spare engine is that one there. So that engine saw probably 3 or 4 months on the road, and that one saw from 2014 right up until last summer. Now, the other thing, this is a diffuser that ended up in my shed. It's actually from a car from work. I need to return it. Let me know what you think. Should I go with the diffuser? Fit a flat bottom on the car? What does everyone think? There'd have to be some sort of channel in it for the exhaust to come out through, but that's not difficult. With about probably that much stick out, and then the exhaust will stick out a little bit further than that. The other thing is I could tuck it all the way in so that in the event of an accident the bumper hits first. I don't know. I'm hoping there won't be any accidents. Unlikely that I'll use this for competitive drifting. It would just be for fun and some demonstrations and that. But I'm going to keep on stripping this bad boy down and get it up on axle stands, and we will go from there. Done everything I'm going to do today. Anyway, I got the sunroof out, got the rubber out. Eventually I'll cut a lot of this channel framework out. I haven't taken the windscreen out. I'll do that tomorrow. I think that's probably about it. Got rid of, you know, all the things that bolt up here. Oh, I'll tell you what's really cool. How cool is this roof? It's all like dimple dyed from the factory, which makes me think that maybe I should try and like dimple dye some more stuff, like the I don't know, like the doors and stuff. But depends on what I use. Over the next few weeks I'm going to be trying to sort out an engine build, get on with that. I've got plenty of cylinder heads, so I just need to order rods and a pump, gaskets and bearings, and find some new pistons. So engine build, mounting shocks, roll cage, and then sorting out all the sub-assemblies like the subframes. Got to make solid bushes for the rear subframe for the diff, and mount the diff at the front of the diff. I've got to sort out all the arms, like make new ones or order, probably use Jap speed upper arms, front and rear. And yeah, I think that's going to be the gist of it. Try and get the car up on stands and slowly work through the rest of the shell so it can go for paint or be painted. I might paint it here, I might send it away. And that's going to be that. So yeah, I will carry on tomorrow and keep you posted.